When you elevate your thinking, you realize that it doesn't matter what industry you play in, it's all the same because everything is consciousness, right? And there are so many people that have similar views to us that are on, thinking about consciousness and how can you elevate yourself to the highest capacity. And then the second question we typically ask is, how can we help others do the same? How can we kind of, inspire that momentum forward and be of service to other people? The coolest thing is, it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is how you do it, right? And the energy that you show up with. Because you cannot serve and help anyone else until you are really working towards showing up with a higher energetic frequency, a higher vibration. And you don't have to know your purpose. You don't have to have a very clearly aligned vision to raise your energetic frequency. You know how, what's the saying or the quote where it's not about the destination, it's about the journey? The energy is the journey. Mastering that in everyday life, in every situation, is the journey. The goals that we usually set are typically the destination points that we're aspiring towards, but when we realize that everything's consciousness and energy, and that the true way to actually achieve anything that you want, whatever desire or goal you have, know that they can all be met at one point in time in your future when you are matching the energetic vibration of that thing. Because really the ultimate way that we achieve anything that we want is to overcome our limitations, the things that are holding, the energies and the mindsets that are holding us back, and freeing us up to become more light, to become higher vibrational, where we attract in and can literally create and manifest whatever we want in this realm. But then typically as we're on that pursuit, it would be great if we could all just get paid full time to focus on that, right? But then we've got things to do in the physical realm, in how we're going to show up in work, what are we doing? But that's where the mastery lies, because that's hard. It's hard to integrate the energy, the spiritual talk, the consciousness talk with sales in corporations, right? But that's where you can elevate yourself to a higher level of mastery where you're I'm not fully really connected with what I'm doing right now in ecom. And maybe I have a vision for creating a coaching business to inspire other people to be able to, achieve financial freedom and sovereignty in their own life, or maybe not. But while you're figuring that out, it's about how are you showing up now? In your conversation, you don't have to be talking about consciousness with anybody, but you can, behind the scenes, behind the veil, your higher self, and you can know that what you're doing in the moment, and you can know that you're having the biggest impact and greatest impact just by being you and holding a high vibration, by living in alignment to your true self. And that's the coolest thing. That is who knows what sort of impact you're going to have on someone else's energy and mindsets by just walking past them in this building somewhere. It happens all the time because have you guys heard of the term, I feel called to share it, light worker? Yeah. Yeah, okay, you have. Okay, so all that means is that you are basically a conscious being spreading light here on physical Earth. And that's basically what the purpose of Earth is. It's, Earth and all the inhabitants, our animals, our people, our civilization, our plant life, and everything like that, it all holds a consciousness, it all holds a frequency. And everything's residing at a different frequency. And say that this person over here who loves violence has a certain frequency, but then, you've got 4 light workers around them, and they're holding a higher light energy. Well, consciousness spreads collectively. You don't have to talk. You don't have to create a teaching or a coaching business to talk information to actually help other people. You can do it if that's what you love. You got to choose what game that you love, and that's the one you play. But the underlying game that we're all playing is energy transference. And that is where it's hey, you're all light workers, and you are holding a certain light frequency, because light is measured by frequencies. So when you vibrate and you live in alignment to your higher self and you start becoming the change that you wish to see in the world, and you are next to a person who loves violence, well, at a subtle level, you help shape their trajectory for their future and their life. Because your energy can create a subtle influence, telepathically, energetically, that may influence that person's behavior in the future. Or maybe they don't pull the trigger in that moment because somewhere you have planted a seed in their mind and their energy field. And that's the coolest thing. And that's what allows you to have so much freedom in what you choose to do in this life. Because it doesn't matter what it is. Like, based on your desires, based on what you decide is like most aligned for you, go and do that, whatever you find the most fun. Because whatever you find the most fun, you're going to be in the highest energetic state, and then you're going to be in an industry where you're helping other people energetically. It's fascinating stuff. It's so cool. But if you're in something right now that you don't enjoy fully, first the challenge is to find a way to hold a higher frequency despite not necessarily loving the thing. Because that's going to put you through the fire. That's like the sword being forged in the fire, right? And pounded over and over again, where it's like you can cop the pounding, you can walk through the fire over and over again and still come out stronger and more more at a higher vibration, where you're still finding ways to like enjoy the moments, hold a higher vibration and spread like love and compassion. And then when you finally do find your most aligned path, like fuck, you're just gonna like blow up because now you're totally aligned and it's all just gonna click like a puzzle. What's your takeaway, Daniel?
Man, so.
Oh.
Now that smart.
Yeah.
When you consume too much, how are you going to create?
What is the energy of consumption driven by? There's two energies that creates consumption mentality. Lack. You don't have enough, right?
Lack already.
And so when you feel like you don't have enough, what do?
You want more.
You look outside of yourself for it. And that perpetuates. And the more you look, the more you don't find. Because there's always more, right? But what everyone's looking for is what's within. And that's like if there's one thing you ever fucking take away from me in our lifetimes together, is look within yourself. And yes, we can have advisors, we can have counsel, we can have a brotherhood that comes together to discuss shit, to remind us of what we need to know. If all you take away is just to, when in doubt, be willing to look within inside of yourself, then that is my greatest gift to give anyone. And it's so simple.
And in this case, like, you've been talking and stuff, and it was like...
You just reloaded my bullets, mate. What you'll find is there's two energies and for learning and for basically gaining more consciousness. And one is the lack mentality of I don't have enough, therefore someone else has it outside of me. But then there's a shift that we can make where it's a striving energy, and it can be a really good and empowering thing, because by sitting in a room like this, we learn so much about ourselves through other people too. But as long as we have that mentality and mindset, because, you know, at the end of the day, there is no separation between us at a higher level. We are all apart, we are all fingers of the same hand, right? You are just a fractal and an aperture in which the hand is viewing itself from. And the hand wants to have an experience of living this life, that life, that life, that life, with all different experiences and perspectives to gain intelligence for the infinite possibilities that exist. And that's what happens. That's the creation. We create fragments to learn more, because each person, each individual person goes and has their infinite abundance of decisions that they can make, which then creates different timelines and different experiences, which then creates different energies and perceptions of the world. And then that adds intelligence to the whole. It's the most infinite intelligent supercomputer that exists. It's like AI, but organic AI gone wild, you know, where it's just creating more and more and more to learn more about itself. And that's, if you want the scientific understanding, you can look into the ever expansion of our universe. It's always expanding. It's never retracting, right? Because there's a constant process of creation where it's learning about itself. But there will become a certain point where all of the creations become self-aware and also cosmically, universally aware, where we all realize that we are separate but also connected to the oneness, the whole, and that's when we'll all collapse in on each other, I believe. I don't know if that's truth, but that's my theory, is when it's like going to be a moment where we all collectively realize that we are the one. We are all a part of the whole. That's why you can have so much fun with your life experiences, is because you do get to choose. That's the free will. We are one of the unique planets in this galaxy that has free will. And it's an amazing opportunity for us to become sovereign and make those choices. And those choices are so important. And that's why we can start to be easy on ourselves, Michael, because it's not about what you've done, the dumb shit you've done, the people you've hurt in the past. I definitely have. I've fucked up a lot of shit, but it's not about the fuck ups. It's not about the problems that you have. It's about your attitude towards them. It's about how do we, in this moment, learn the lessons from those problems to become more conscious, to become more aware about the thoughts we think, the feelings we feel, and the impact that that has on ourselves and those around us. So, Michael, to wrap back around to you and your Q2 learnings, is there anything else you want to add to, your experiences over the past quarter and what you've really taken away, and any shift in your approach that you're wanting to take moving forward? Yes, exactly.
I'm having the experience that I'm supposed to have to give the information back to.
And the learning is what matters.
Right.
That's the upload. When you learn the lesson, then you upload it back into the quantum. And that's how we evolve. Yeah, it doesn't matter what your unique situation is. But when we beat ourselves up, that prevents the upload from taking place. That prevents evolution, or it doesn't prevent evolution because there's always learning in every micro situation, right? Understanding that can allow us to love ourselves a little bit more. Because then we can know that, hey, if we're not loving ourselves, we're not actually loving other people either. If we're not being easy on ourselves, then we're just perpetuating that problem where everyone else is in pain because we're not collectively and individually taking responsibility for being kind to ourselves, being compassionate. And that's what's required for higher advancement and evolution. And greater performance. Because when you feel love and you are in that moment, you don't have to think, you just do, right? It all comes to you. But when you hate yourself, try getting anything done when you hate yourself and you're really disappointed about yourself and your life, and it can create short-term motivation to get yourself out of a funk, but it doesn't last.